Recording.
Okay. And we are live on Facebook. Thank you guys for joining us today. Welcome to the January meeting of the Seminole County Democratic Party. I am going to officially call this meeting to order. I am the chair of the Seminole County Democratic Party, at least through this actual meeting. So it's going to be fun because we're just going to have an election today again. I promise this one is set to be a lot shorter. We only have 2 positions to vote on. So tonight we'll be voting on our chair and our new vice chair. So thank you. Many thanks to Daniel for acting as vice chair for a month. I appreciate it, Daniel. And many thanks to Sue for coordinating, getting all of our precinct captains in. I know we've had quite a few people coming in and wanting to participate. So we are excited. Our precinct captains are our voting members of the organization. And we are ready to get started. So I think did I already adjourn or begin the meeting? So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Let me see here. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Yes. Okay. Sue, I'm going to ask you to keep an eye on the chat in the Zoom. Sue and Daniel, if you don't mind.
I'll do my best.
Okay, thank you. So welcome. And this is kind of this is the order of how it's going to go tonight. So we did the call to order. Next up, we're going to do the pledge and moment of silence, as well as our quorum verification. We're going to move into the election of the chair and vice chair and voting in our new members. We're going to have some announcements. Our activist of the month is going to be announced, and then we're going to have a data presentation along with some closing remarks. So are you guys seeing my little Zoom bar here, or are you just seeing my presentation? I'm sorry.
Just your presentation.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm going to ask everybody to stand, even from home, and we are going to say the pledge. Okay. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And please stay standing for a moment of silence. Thank you all. So next up, I know Sue was working on moving some people into the from the participants side to the panelist side. Sue, do we have quorum?
We most definitely have quorum.
Great. Okay. So quorum is required for those of you that are new to joining us today. Quorum is required for us to make any motions or move any projects forward, essentially. And so that's what we do, is we want to make sure that we have enough of our members present. Be a voting member. We just need to make sure that we have enough of you here. That's why we ask that you be at every meeting. And we also ask that if you're unable to attend, that you email Sue, our credentials chair, at credentials@semdems.com. Let her know if you are unable to make a meeting, so that we can make sure that we do have quorum for each meeting. So I guess with that, we are actually going to dive right into it. Let me make sure I'm skipping over here. So our order of our elections, again, are going to be chair first, and then vice chair. If there's more than one person who runs for chair, the person who does not become chair is able to also run for the vice chair position. That's how it works. That's why we do them in a certain order. So these are the 2 orders that the 2 positions that we are going to have open tonight. And then I just want to run through some of the election procedures here. So any 2021 through 2024 precinct captain is eligible to run for these positions. You may self-nominate or be nominated by a fellow precinct captain. A second is not needed. If you have already notified us ahead of time, we already do have you down on the list. But again, anybody can be nominated by the floor or from the floor. So you can either type that in chat, or I believe our members can all, I believe, can unmute at this time, when we actually do it. So I just want to make sure that we don't miss anything. We're going to ask 3 times for any other nominations from the floor to make sure that we give ample opportunity for anyone else to run for these offices. So if your name is not on this list and you did plan to run, if for any reason it's not here, if you haven't received any kind of verification from me or Sue saying that we received your information and we've got you on our list, please go ahead and nominate yourself tonight. I want to make sure that's very clear. Everybody is welcome to. We can definitely do that. The next one. So we will ask you to give up to a 2-minute speech. So I'm going to ask that even if we do only have one person, if those people will tell us a little bit about themselves and a little bit about kind of where they want to take the SemDems in the future, what challenges they see, that kind of thing. And then we will allow up to 5 minutes of questions per each candidate from the precinct captains and our other voting members. Other voting members do include elected Democrats in Seminole County and things like that. So we have just a few extras in addition to our precinct captains. A majority of vote is required to win a seat. So that is 50% plus 1. So we do, if there are more than 2 people running and no one wins 50% of the vote, we will be doing a revote with the top 2. So that's essentially how it works. I just want to make sure that everyone's clear. Daniel and Sue, are there any questions in the chat at all?
No questions present. I just want to mention for the candidates, I am timing you.
Got it. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Daniel. So Daniel will act as our timer tonight. And Daniel, if you just kind of want to give a little like wave when they just have like a, what do you want to say, 30 seconds left or something like that. And that way they can keep an eye on them, keep an eye on it. We are also streaming live to Facebook. So we can also, I'll turn off the actual presentation. I'll stop the screen share when we do actually do this so that everybody can see their faces. So we'll get going. Daniel, anything else? Sue?
I'm still paying attention to who's attending. I'm going to need Daniel to handle that.
Okay, got it. No problem. I was going to say, Sue, let me know if we need to pause before moving on. We can certainly do that.
No, I think you're good to go. We definitely have quorum. So I'm just going to still let people in as we start the proceedings.
Okay.
I see no questions nor motions in the chat.
Okay. Perfect. So we have, can we, I think she can unmute herself and turn on her microphone, but what I'm going to actually do first before we let the candidate who is on our ballot speak is I'm going to ask for any other motions from the floor. Are there any other motions from the floor other than Lynn Moira Dichter? Any other nominations from the floor? Is there anything in the chat, Daniel? Are you keeping an eye out?
There is nothing in the chat.
Okay.
Guys, quick question.
Yep.
Guys, please remember to have it being all panelists and attendees so that everyone can see your message. If you're motioning in a private message, I cannot see that.
Got it. Yes, please be sure to make sure that your message is going to everyone. I'm not seeing anything, but Daniel is keeping tabs on it. So I'm going to call one more time. Are there any other nominations from the floor? No. Okay. So so Lynn, if you would like to, well, we're going to actually need to officially vote on that. And we can vote by acclamation, but I don't believe we actually have it set up to to do that tonight, just because of the way it's set up, but it will be a very simple vote, I promise you. So give me a second here.
You want me to put it in the chat? Are we ready to vote?
Yes, we're ready to vote on chair. You will drop that link in there.
Yes, I will. One moment, I lost my chat.
Patrick Westerfield has made a motion for acclamation.
Okay, Patrick has made a motion to vote Lynn in by acclamation. And do we have a second for that?
Nicole Hammer is a second.
Nicole Hammer is a second. Larry, would we be able to put a poll vote up for that one?
Sure, just give me one moment.
Okay, thank you.
Great idea, Patrick. Thank you.
Hey.
Thanks for moving it along. We appreciate it.
Nobody appreciates it more than I do.
So Lynn, are you able to turn on your video?
It says the host hasn't enabled me. No.
Okay, let me see if I can enable.
My bad.
That's okay.
Are you able to, Daniel? Or
Daniel, I don't think you have the privilege
Are you
anymore.
under Moira or are you under?
I'm
She's
under
Lynn.
Moira Dictor, the whole thing.
It might have to be Larry unless you have that capability.
I can't.
What do we need?
Oh, I found her.
Video for Moira.
Thank you. I got it. All right, let's see.
Okay.
Nope, it still says disabled, but as soon as I'll just keep trying.
No,
Nope.
I can't. I found her, but I can't. Yeah.
Who's
I'm
listed
not a
as
co-host.
who's listed as the main host?
Larry. You're a
Well,
only-
co-host though.
yeah, I'm
It's
surprised you shouldn't be able to. I'm looking here.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. It's
It's
always fun.
it does say it's just still the host, only the host can disable.
Yeah, I don't have
Oh,
any
you know
power.
what? When this was set up, the hosts and panelists are both off for video.
You cannot, it says you cannot start your video because the host has disabled it. So
Do I need to?
You need to as a co-host, you have to go down to Lynn and right-click on her name.
I'm not able.
No, right now co-host cannot do that today. We're not set up for that.
Oh,
I can make her
Mary has to
I can
do
make
it.
her co-host. It's gonna bounce somebody, but
Okay.
let me try. Oh, there it is.
There you are.
I see your screen, Brittany. I don't know if I'm on or not, but I
Yep,
just.
you are on. You are
I am?
on. Yes.
Okay. Well, there
So-
you go. How about that? I
Go
can't
right
see
ahead.
I can't see any of you, and I'm hoping you can see me.
Yes.
Thank you for the acclamation. I hope that works as expected. But this is there it is. Hot dog. Now I see you guys, or some of you anyway. My name and now my face, Lynn Moira Dictor. I know so many of you and recognize so many of you. First of all, Happy New Year. I have been a resident of Seminole County for almost 37 years, raised my kids in this town and in either South Seminole County in the English Estates area or now up here in the Lake Mary unincorporated Seminole County area in Western Seminole County. I am a lifelong multi-generational Democrat. And last year, so many of you know this and were so great to help me over the last election cycle. I was a first-time candidate for Seminole County tax collector because I really wanted to make a difference in the community that I have lived in for all of these years and decades. So I want to thank all of you because so many of you wrote postcards, made phone calls, made donations, and did all of the literature drops and canvassing and every single piece that a candidate needs to make that journey. Now, look, the outcome wasn't what I would have liked. And there are many people who have a very similar story, but I know I wouldn't, other than the outcome, I wouldn't trade 1 minute of that journey for so many reasons, because I met so many of you, so many of our neighbors in Seminole County, whether I was collecting petitions, raising money, or dropping literature at houses, or going on caravans with you guys over the last election cycle. It was a wonderful journey, and I wouldn't trade a minute of the people I met or the experience I had of the last year and a half. So when it came to November 3rd, I knew that that was not the end of my political journey. I have been a media person for the last again, 36, 37 years, I was a radio person, a news pundit, all of these things. And I knew that I wanted to keep my hand in the game. And Tracy Kagan and I, you will hear about her in just a moment, but I have some priorities along with the person who hopefully will be our co-chair or vice chair. We are really focusing on you guys, the precinct captains. We have 80 precincts in Seminole County, only 36, but 36 of them are open. So we have got to fill in some of those gaps because precinct captains are the key to voter registration, which is our #1 priority, and precinct captains are the key to getting out the vote. Precinct captains are the key. So we're going to fill as many slots as we can, and we are going to lean hard on the precinct captains this year. In Altamont Springs, in Oviedo, in Lake Mary, we've got citywide elections coming up. This year, it's an off year, I know that, but we are so energized and so excited to take the good work of the last, 10 years that we have made such great strides in Seminole County. Almost purple, almost blue, almost there in so many cases. And this time we are hoping with a really good ground game in communities that we should have really focused on and made part of our base, that we will have successes this year in the cities and next year in the counties and of course at the state level. So thank you for that. Thank you for the help that you have given me and I know you will give me moving forward. And I am honored to have to take that chair. Brittany left very big shoes, so as did Rob before her. So it is my great honor to run and to take the baton for the next couple of years. Thank you again.
Very nice, thank you. And Larry, do we have the official poll to vote Lynn in by acclamation?
We do. It's coming up.
Okay, perfect. And Lynn, you do get to vote for this one too.
Okay, I don't know how to do that, but it says hosts and panelists cannot vote. Did they make me a host?
Right.
Hang on.
All right.
Yeah, it should
Let's start over.
vote by acclamation, so.
Yeah.
Well, let's just assume that I'm going to vote for myself. How about that?
There you go.
Well, you kind of have to, because if we vote by acclamation, we can't have any person saying no.
That's correct. So I don't know what happened to that, but.
Hang on, I'm getting there.
Oh, there you go. Got it. Thank you. Oh, no.
You all vote? Yeah.
Okay, we're watching the numbers come in. I'm seeing the results come in.
I still can't do it, but.
I don't see a way to vote, Larry.
Host
I think
can't
it's,
vote.
I think it's
Host
just
can't
the
vote.
host.
I'm still a
It's
host.
fine.
I'm still a host. I can't vote, so that's fine. I'm just going to let it go as
We
is.
got 60 votes for yes, right? Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Is everybody
So we
finished
only-
voting? Give you
we have-
another 15 seconds.
I think that's the maximum number of votes that we can have, given that 4 of us are hosts or panelists right now, so we're good.
Yeah,
This is true.
I
Thank
think
you
that's
very much.
everything.
Thank you. It's a big honor. A little scary, but a big honor. Thank you again.
Congratulations, Lynn.
Hey.
Thank
Um,
you.
Do we
Excellent.
have-
Thank you.
You are voted in by acclamation. Do we have questions for Lynn as long as she's on the screen here? I know a lot of people have questions about the future. I mean, obviously, we're going to have lots of chats to come.
Yeah.
But any questions?
We have a question from, we had a question, but it's gone now. Okay, now we have another question. Will you be leaving your position as chair to run for office before the end of your term? If so,
No.
when do you see that happening?
No, that's not happening. No, that's not happening. I think I can make more of a difference and move the needle in this spot than I can anywhere else. So I'm here. You're stuck with me for the next couple of years.
Any other
All
questions,
right.
Daniel? Are you seeing anything else?
I see no questions in chat. Remember, guys, you can also raise your hand, and I am paying attention for that.
Either way.
I see. Oh, wait, we have a question from Corinne Daly.
Hi, I'm just wondering, this has been a huge thing to me for keeping and retaining our NPAs once, if the party disappoints them in some capacity. A lot of grassroots organizers have to go out and re-register those people. So I just wanted to see what your opinion was on that. I think it's a huge waste of time for people to have to re-register. I think we should be retaining them. So I just wanted to see what your thoughts or your plans or what you even, what your feelings are on that.
When we go to canvas, when that day comes, we will, and I'm sorry if you hear my dog barking in the background. When we go to canvass to register people, of course, we're going to look for, you know, the Democrats or the new entries to our county, but we're also going to hit hard the MPAs. So if their party, you know, if the Republicans disappointed them, we are absolutely going to give them a good reason why they should be Democrats. And there are plenty of good reasons why they should be registered as Democrats in this community. So yeah, we are going to hit hard the MPAs, and we're going to certainly hit the new voters and the new apartments and the core group in you know, that we hope to hit for voter registration. So we're not abandoning those NPAs at all. We're hitting them hard.
Thank you.
We have another question, which is somewhat in the similar vein, which is what plans do you have to increase activities and find Democrats and MPAs during the downtime?
During the pandemic, I guess that means during the pandemic. Well, we're not going to sit on our hands during the pandemic. We don't know when people will get the vaccinations. We don't know if Seminole County is doing it efficiently either, but we are going to be doing COVID-safe registrations. There are plenty of places that we can still do that in a safe manner. There may not be a lot of festivals and farmers markets up and running, but if there are, we're going to have a presence there. Masks only. Maybe the masks say SemDems, for Pete's sake. I don't know. Do we have such a thing? If not, it might be something worth investigating. The plan is precinct captains are the key to that registration, because those are your neighbors. So when you look at the Democrats in your area, you know, those are the people that you need to reach out and touch so that they are in our camp, if you will. And so that's a big priority for me, is to get those precinct captains. We have too many openings in too many critical areas. As a matter of fact, I did a deep dive into this yesterday because I'm kind of nerdy like that. And when I discovered 36 were open, it's in areas like Sanford, we have 12 precincts in Sanford, 8 of them are open. That's shameful. So we need to take the areas where we have gaping holes and really concentrate on getting some precinct captains so that they can go to their areas and find out who votes and who is not yet registered to vote, and that we can make sure that they are registered.
Okay, I see one more question, and I think this is going to be our last question because we're running out of time for questions.
Okay.
You mentioned promoting and registering volunteers. Do you have any plans to keep up the momentum we had in getting people to run for office?
Oh my gosh, I was handed a great gift with this, excitement. And, Brittany handed me a gift, because of the people and the energy and the excitement we had in the last couple of years, actually the last 4 years. We went from, 2016, where it was completely upside down, lopsided, to 2018 to 2020, we're neck and neck. We're almost there, but we are going to finally be, the majority registration party, the majority party in Seminole County in the next couple of years. And every one of you precinct captains is going to have some measurable, quantifiable goals to get us there. Everybody's got to do their part in their precinct to register people to vote. So we're going to get, the volunteers have been awesome. And so many of you, whether you work in the office, whether you make those phone calls, we are going to keep that. Look, it's got to be fun. I know you're volunteers. I've worked with tons of volunteers. It has got to be something that is fun. So we're going to incorporate a lot of that also. But there is no question we could not do it. We don't have paid staff. We're all volunteers. And we're going to try to make it something fun and inspiring as we move forward and keep that momentum going. That momentum is priceless. And yes, we hope to keep that enthusiasm level high.
All right. And that was all the time we have for questions. Thank you, Moira.
Thank you.
Thank you, new chair.
Yeah.
Congratulations to Chair.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. And you are welcome to turn your video off if you would like.
I'm doing it. If I can find that. Oh, there we go. Okay.
We might need to turn back on our presentation. I probably don't need to officially turn back on the presentation yet. I can, hold on. Give me a second. I'm sorry. Multiple screens showing multiple things. Hold on a second. There we go. Okay. Sorry. Let me see here. Sorry. I apologize. So we have had, we actually have two people who are who have notified me they would like to run for vice chair. The first one is Miss Tracy Kagan, and the second one is Mr. Craig Wilding. So Tracy Kagan and Craig Wilding. Are there any other nominations from the floor? Are there any other nominations from the floor? Daniel, are you seeing anything?
I see no motions nor nominations. Oh, and the results for, I had just opened up.
Okay, are there any other nominations from the floor? That's going to be my third time. I just want to make sure. Third time. Okay, I think we are good. Okay. And so what we're going to do now is I'm actually going to ask Miss Tracy Kagan to go ahead. I think we might have to make her a co-host as well. I know that might bump somebody.
Oh, we had a question.
Oh, yes.
Can you describe the requirements and or the job of vice chairman?
Yes. So, so you all know me as the chair. My previous vice chair prior to this past month was Ben Jenkins. So I think a lot of you saw that he was really kind of my right-hand guy. I mean, that's how we got stuff done. I couldn't have done, you know, nearly as much as I look like I accomplished without Ben, and of course this whole team. So really, what the vice chair does traditionally is the vice chair is the second in command. The vice chair is there to you know, continue to make the organization move smoothly. There's also actually not any rules about who hosts the meeting. So there are a lot of opportunities for you know, some flexibility and some assistance between the chair and the vice chair. So there's lots of that. Do we have? Oh, hold on a second. Oh, they said they can't see that. Let me try changing it back to some validity and some. Let's see here. There we go. Can you guys see me now? Okay. Awesome. So sorry about that.
I just give me 1 second, Brittany. I was just told that people are also commenting on the Facebook live stream, so I'm just checking to see. But
and they might
no,
have questions, but we should.
Or motions? No, they won't have any motions because anyone who can make a motion is in here, right?
Right. Yes, you are correct.
Okay.
So it's fine to keep it within this. Okay. Let me change it to spotlight speaker here for a second. And continue. Okay. Spotlight speaker. Sorry about that. So so we have two nominations. So if we can go ahead and we would go ahead. Could we have Miss Tracy Kagan? Can we have her made a co-host so she can share?
It has to be you or Sue because I lost co-host, so I can't make them co-host anymore.
Sorry about that.
I thought
I'm doing it. I've got it.
Okay, thank you. And the only, so we don't have a requirement. So that's a good question, Steve. Thank you for asking that. So during the organizational meeting, Steve's question was, is there a requirement that the chair and vice chair have to be opposite genders? And the answer is no. During our organizational meeting, yes, you are required to. That is a piece of the organizational meeting bylaws, essentially, is that if the chair is female, then the only opportunity for a vice chair would be to a male, and vice versa. During any kind of special election, that is actually not the case, according to our bylaws, and the state doesn't have any specific pieces. So during the organizational meeting that we had in December, yes, that is the case. It does have to be male and female or vice versa. But during this meeting, it does not have to be. It can be people of the same gender, different genders. It's up in the air now. So now that it is essentially an open seat. So Tracy, I see you there. Do you want to go ahead and turn on your video? and we will spotlight you. So you will have 2 minutes, and Daniel's going to give you a little wave when it is.
Take my,
Oh,
you're muting me.
okay. You should be good.
All right.
Take it away.
Okay. All right. Can you hear me? Can everyone hear me? Okay.
Yep, Sam, we can hear you.
Most of you do know me. I've been part of the SemDems now for at least 3 years. I ran twice for District 29, and I have to tell you, I want to use my skills that I learned as a candidate and implement them as the chair or the vice chair with SemDems. Lynn and I, Moira and I, have gotten together several times to discuss what needs to be done to take us to the next level. We stand on the shoulders of Robiel, we stand on the shoulders of Brittany, and you know, one thing that someone pointed out to me very clearly, Orange County took 20 years to go from red to blue. Well, I'm not that patient. I'm not going to wait 20 years. It's our turn. We have come 1% close in almost every down ballot race, and this time we need to take it to the next level. The key for the SemDems is to be aggressive. We need to be aggressive with every kind of voter contact, registration. We're going to run this, and we've discussed it. We want to run this like Stacey Abrams. We want to have a ground game. And in that ground game, we need to touch minorities. We cannot show up to minorities' houses and their doors 1 week before an election. We need to plant the seeds now for the races in 2020, 2021, 2022. We need to start now with a ground game. And you know what? Someone had an excellent idea. Sal and I have been talking as well. And I think that we should have meetings that rotate around the county, because that gives other people an opportunity and other areas an opportunity to be seen and heard. And we need to feel them and touch them. So I believe that the next thing that's very important for us to do is voter registration, an aggressive ground game, and also finding good candidates. We need to match our candidates to whatever and whomever is running. And we need to play the same game as the Republicans and stop being passive and be aggressive. We need to get out there. I have skills, obviously, as an attorney. I have a skill to analyze law, to speak to people, but more importantly, as a candidate who's been through the system twice and butted heads against the same person twice, and who's now looking to make a dynasty on the Plaken name and secure his wife in that post. I think it's very important that we get good candidates. I hope you guys vote for me. I have all the energy in the world. Let's do this.
Thank you so much, Tracy. We appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, I think we have to turn your video off for a minute to let Craig come back on, and then we will have questions for both of you. So if you'll turn that off. Oh, and we've got Craig as a co-host. So Tracy, you can turn off your video for a moment. And we should be good.
I'm trying. Okay.
Okay, you're good. And then Craig, I will spotlight you. Oops. Okay, yes. Craig, you are spotlighted. So welcome, welcome. Again, you will have 2 minutes, and Daniel will wave at you when you are getting close to the finish line there.
All right. I'm Craig Wilding. I'm running for the vice chair position. Been activity lead since 2018. Right now, I'm finishing my master's degree in political science at UCF. That's how I know everything. So I started in 2016 when there were only 20 people. Then we suddenly jumped up to 200 people. And after Trump, and people didn't know quite what to do. I came in and handed out homework assignments to our precinct captains. And basically, I was the one who answered, what do we do? How do we do it? I just stepped up and did it. In 2020, I'm still doing the same thing. I'm the one who literally made the plan. Every canvassing packet that went door to door with, every list of the postcards that we mailed out to, that was started behind the scenes by me. I want to thank every one of the office staff to help put all those packets together and mailed out all those postcards. Together, we reached out to 3,000 people a week. That's a few counties can do. All right, that's how incredible our team here in Seminole currently is. So why vice chair? I see the vice chair as the leader who chooses what to do, and the vice chair is focused on how to do it. I'm good at figuring out how to do things, and that's what I want to continue. More importantly, this is how we grow. By stepping up, it opens up lower positions that are easier to fill. So instead of looking for someone to take over the whole thing, walk, stock, and barrel from the top. I figured we can help people fill in places at the bottom. Or someone's done it before, we can help you train people how to do it. Also brings in new energy and new ideas. There's a lot of great new suggestions from our survey. That's where energy is going to come from. And the way for me to do my job better now is to step up and let other people try out their ideas. All right. And that's going to help us build a structure that lets us grow. As the results are showing, we're going to need to get local and get personal down to the precinct level. And building this local outreach effort requires understanding how our current team operates. That's where I'm running for vice chair, trying to build this back better.
Great, thank you so much, Craig. And if we could have both of you back on screen, and we will have some questions. Daniel, will you facilitate the questions?
Sure. Okay, guys, if you are on Facebook and if you are in chat, I can see both sides for questions.
Yes, and our voting members are again only on the chat, so that's
okay. So we have our first question for Craig. Craig, you were heavily involved in 2020 cycle ground game. What do you think went wrong? And as vice chair, what do you plan to do differently?
I think we missed a little bit on the message. We were so focused on voting the whole ballot message. And we did great at getting out the flyers with everyone's names from top to bottom, getting out that message, but we didn't have quite the underlying details about every candidate. So people have come up with ideas like, let's build a whole blue book that gives people a whole packet of here's all our candidates to tell each one of them about that. So we can build the whole team that way, give them more information, just saying build Democrats. So I think that's where we need to go a little bit further.
Okay, I have a question for Tracy Kagan. Tracy, will you be running for election in 2022? And if so, will you be resigning before that term expires?
I am not running. I'm not running against the Plaken dynasty any longer. My sincere dedication is to SemDems. I would like to follow up on that question about what went wrong with our ground game. What went wrong with our ground game is we didn't have much of a ground game. And that's the problem. We have precincts that are not covered. We have areas that are not being reached. And I do feel that we were afraid as Democrats because of COVID, rightfully so, but the Republicans did not. And I think that we have to mask on and amp our ground game up to get to those holes and fill those precincts and those areas in Altamont and Sanford that are not being touched.
Okay, guys, I have another question for both of you. Would you each address your fundraising experience and how you see fundraising efforts going in the future for the SemDems?
Would you like, should I start?
Tracy, go first.
Yes, Tracy, if you wouldn't mind going first, please.
I raised $500,000 for my campaign. $500,000, 4 hours every day during COVID for the last 6 months on the phone getting donors. I have huge donor lists, huge contacts for fundraising. And the ability to raise money is something that I have and also something that Moira has. The question is, when we get that money, what is the best use of our money? And that's where we get a team together to decide how to allocate the money and what the best use for the money is. But fundraising, I mean, I raised $500,000.
Craig, would you mind?
I went through and I did pull like all the campaign donations from all the candidates from the Florida houses and for Joe Biden, and cross-reference that to our database of phone numbers. So I added about 3,000 to 6,000 possible potential donors for us to call. That's how our county SemDems was able to outraise the Republicans by creating that donor list for us to call. And again, like Tracy said, yeah, this is what we need to fund our outreach to make sure we have the money there. I was actually surprised we were for about $20,000 to $40,000 to do our outreach, but we raised over 100,000. So we were able to outreach a lot more, do a lot more on Facebook, do a lot more messaging, and doing the printing of all the materials.
All right, guys, I have another question. how do we beat the Republican messaging? It's not being pushed over badly. How do we work with the grassroots organizers to make sure we do not duplicate efforts? Craig, if you want to go first this time.
For the grassroots efforts, it's about trying to coordinate. Part of the problem is if they're another national organization, direct cooperation is actually illegal. But with the candidates themselves, we can cooperate all we want. And that's what we tried to do with giving them each the plan to say, here's where we're going, here's where we're going to be going to, and here's where I need you to go to. What was the second question?
I'm sorry. How do we make sure to not duplicate efforts?
Okay.
Oh, and how do we beat the Republican messaging?
We're going to have to get local with local issues. You know, it's from what I'm seeing, it's not going to be a question of whether we're more progressive or whether we're more moderate. It's like we need to be more local. Like issues like Chad Alberton had in Casper with the water bills is things we need to be focusing on. Focusing on small business and growing that is where we need to be focusing on to be at the local level here.
All right, Tracy, would you mind, remember, how do we beat the Republican messaging and how do we coordinate better with grassroots organizers to make sure we do not duplicate efforts?
Okay, so here it goes right now. I've had a lot of time since November 3rd to analyze this and what went wrong. We cannot have each candidate working in a vacuum. We have to be and we have to have a unified message. And when we analyze the data, which we'll do later on in this, which I've had an opportunity to look at, we'll see that every amendment gets bipartisan support. I think one of our biggest mistakes in this election was not tying ourselves to one cause, i.e., for instance, the $15 minimum wage. We had to have clear messaging and one message and be unified in our message and the candidates. Otherwise, it gets muddled. We all know we're Democrats. We all know we want Medicaid expansion. We want to protect public schools, preserve the environment. But the bottom line is the amendments are the ones that are getting carried through in bipartisan support and MPA support. So maybe we have to honor that and reflect that and pick one message or one amendment that we feel is going to be and have a unified message. I've analyzed this over and over again with the Republicans. They have one message and they hammer it home. I'm sorry, what was the other part of your equation?
Well, I feel like you answered it to a certain extent. It was how do we beat the Republican messaging and how do we coordinate to make sure we don't duplicate efforts?
Okay, here's another thing that I would say also. You know, they played very, very dirty in these races and they put independents in the races. I think that we have to really put some thought into the candidates that we choose and how we play this. We have to be methodical, strategic, and aggressive. Without that, we're never going to flip it. We are on the verge of flipping it. Now we need to take it to the next level and do it.
Okay, guys, I'm gonna allow for two final questions because we're actually a little bit over time, but these are two very important questions out of Facebook. One of them is, how are you gonna work, to both of you, how are you gonna work to make sure that the SemDems is a friendly environment to be volunteer and work in? That's number one. And number two, how are you planning to fill in the vacant precinct captain position, specifically in the city of Sanford, which seems predominantly absent in SemDems meetings?
I could start if you want. I mean,
Yes,
I think,
please.
Okay, so I think Sanford, and I totally get that. You know, you can't ask for people's votes and show up 2 weeks before. We have to have a presence in Sanford, maybe a satellite office. I think we should hold meetings in Sanford. Like I mentioned earlier, we should rotate the SemDem meetings. And we have to go back to when I was campaigning, I went to the Black churches. We have to meet people where they live, and we have to listen to them and validate them and really support them, not just 2 days before the election, 2 years before the election. So that's how you engage people. And then that actually ties in hand in how you find precinct captains. The more you're visible in a community, the more you show yourself there and you listen, The more you get people to interact, the more people will be interested and then want to get involved. When they see that their response is adhered to, they'll want to get involved and volunteer and perhaps be a precinct captain. You can't just ring a doorbell. You need to be in the community and submerge yourself into that community. And the only way to do it is to be on the ground and to actually go there.
Okay, and remember the second question was, how do you plan on fostering a friendly environment within the SemDems?
Well, I think all of us are very friendly. I think that to foster a friendly environment, we all want the same outcome. We would like to have more Democrats in positions of authority and in political positions. To sponsor a friendly relationship is to have fun activities also. Make it fun while we're doing it. I mean, we don't have to be serious about this. We could have car washes, we could have bake sales, we can have karaoke nights. I'm all for fun. I'm all for splitting a bottle of wine and enjoying everyone's company. I mean, the truth is we have to enjoy life, you know, and while we're doing it, it will attract others to us.
All right. And Craig, I will repeat both of the questions for you. How do you plan on fostering a friendly environment within the SemDems? And how do you plan on filling in the vacant precinct captain's position, specifically within the city of Sanford?
All right. We did try to do the cluster program. I'm sorry that the COVID-19 sort of got in the way of doing that, but we've learned to do things through Zoom since then. So maybe we can try to get that going again, be more friendly. For Sanford, yeah, that's been a problem we're trying to get into, and it's gonna have to get local, get personal. You know, Tracy's right. You're gonna have to go to the churches. You're gonna have to know who the people are. There was someone, I remember there's someone in particular I'm thinking of that Tracy and I were both actually knocked on their door and talked to for a good 10, 15 minutes while she was campaigning. So there are some like community leaders there that we can contact again to help lead things. But it's going to be, you know, someone from our group is going to have to be the first person to set up a meeting so that they can come to, and it is going to have to be in Sanford for them to go to. They're not going to, you know, don't want to come to our meetings way down in Altamont here. It's going to have to be there. You know, Tracy was right about that again too. For Altamont area, that's a good question because that's one of our strongholds. So why we don't have more people there, that's going to have something to look into. But we have been working with the office team, with Kathy and Sue and Howard on how to get these precinct clusters going live again to do things through Zoom. Kathy started that meeting first on Tuesday to get the precinct captains up and active again, training them how to be a precinct captain, what we're going to give you to help out, and try to use your ideas for how to make it fun, how to get it local. So.
Okay, guys, I'm getting the go ahead to wrap it up. Now I have one final question, which I've been asked to ask. Please answer this in under a minute. Please keep it quick because we have to move on to our vote. Both of you have very diverse experiences. Both of you have different strengths. So the question is, if you were not to become if you were not to become the vice chair today, what position would you take within the SemDems? Would you remain in the SemDems? Hopefully the answer is yes, you're going to stay in the SemDems. What would you do? Craig, if you want to go.
I've been trying to focus more on the candidate stuff because I've been doing a lot more research on finding the money for them to go to callers, finding out all the rules for listing and what we can do that. I have also been working with as precinct lead, trying to get these clusters going again. Why I'm sort of looking to move up or move over. You know, I'm still the big introvert. You know, having ideas for how to throw a big party and cluster isn't my best thing. So that's where I'm gonna need help for people to step in to do that. So that's what I would do.
All right, Tracy, if you were not to become the vice chair, what would you do in the SemDems?
I would run away and cry. No, I would still be, I would still be a part of SemDems. I'm blue. I'm always blue. I bleed blue. But here's the bottom line. The bottom line is that I do want to be a part of it, not because I want to wear my name, but because I feel that I have a lot of qualities and a lot of attributes that I can help with SemDems, and a lot of intuition and insight from my experiences. And the bottom line is I want to move the needle. And how do we move the needle? I want to run it with Moira. We're going to be co-chairs. I know one will have chair, one will be vice chair. We're really going to be co-chairs. We're going to pick different areas. We're going to focus on them, and we're going to have a strategy, and we're going to be succinct and a goal, and we're going to take steps to reach our goal. So, I mean, if I'm not vice chair, what will I do? I'll find something to do. You'll plug me in somewhere. But this is where I really think that I fit, and this is where I think it's a better use of my skills.
Okay, with that, guys, I'm going to go ahead and close questioning. I'm going to pass it off for Brittany for the vote.
Okay, so we are going to move it forward to a vote. So this one is a little different. So Sue, would you mind dropping the link to the voting in the chat? And so I know it's a little bit difficult from your phone, but if you do have questions about how to find it, you are welcome to unmute yourself if you have a question, and we will walk you through. I'm going to ask that if we can hold off on commenting in the chat for a minute, other than any issues, just so everybody can access that Google Doc form. And so what you do is you click on the link from the Google Doc, and Tracy and Craig, if you want to turn your cameras off, you are welcome to. And we will have you click on that link, and you can each vote once, and we will be tallying them on the back end.
How do I vote?
You should, we might have to boot you from being no.
No, there's a link in the chat. If you're a panelist, you can access the link from the chat window.
Oh, in the chat. Got it.
Yep. So check out the chat.
I can't open my chat. Oh, there it is.
We can't help you with that.
All right, I see it. And click on the link.
Click on the link, and then it will be obvious.
Yep.
Okay, I see it.
And we're going to ask you each to plug in your name, because these are not technically,
They're not anonymous.
We have to make sure that everybody only votes once. So please enter your first name, your last name, and then select one person to be vice chair. And please type your digital signature as well. You're technically supposed to have a signature.
While everyone is voting, I just noticed something. You are allowed an unlimited number of co-hosts, apparently. It just kicked me out because it doesn't like me.
There you go.
Zoom is being a little finicky tonight, I think.
Yeah, I think we've had a few technical difficulties that were not our fault tonight.
How do I get back?
Did you get it, Tracy? You should be able to,
how do I get back to you?
You should be able to close out of it.
Close the chat window.
The little Zoom button on the bottom of your screen.
No, I want to get back
white and blue.
Our meeting.
The blue button with the white camera in the bottom of your screen.
Thank you very kindly. Amazing. Technology's amazing. Thank you.
Okay. And Stephanie,
Stephanie, what is your question? Oh, thank you, Bob.
Let's see here. I think Stephanie, is that Stephanie? Which Stephanie is that? Is that Stephanie Strauss?
Can I butt in for a second on that one?
Yes.
Anybody who's currently in attendee mode and not a panelist, it's because you have not yet been voted back into membership, or you are an associate precinct captain and not eligible to vote. Everybody voting today had to have been voted in by this special meeting on December 29th. So I'm sorry if you missed that deadline, but we are voting you in tonight after this election.
And you'll be able to vote on everything else. So that's why we had it separated with panelists and attendees tonight. And we're also streaming to Facebook. So as you've got quite a few people who are going to be voted in tonight.
Did I vote? Yeah, I don't think I did.
Let's see here.
Yeah, don't forget to vote. Everybody in the panelist box, that's 69 people, is eligible to vote, and we're up to 59 votes. So 10 of you haven't made it yet, but we're going to call it in about 1 more minute.
Yeah, so we want to make sure everybody has a chance to
Oh no. I'm being told that I'm never going to leave. Thank you, Tiffany. We have a comment, won't accept because I can't get the signature to work. Help. The signature is you just type your name, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
the
just
signature.
type.
Yes, the signature is typing your name, so it's not any kind of drawing or anything. So we're gonna hold it off for just another minute because I want to make sure everybody else has got it live. Oh, and Steve asked a good question, and Steve, I think you're gonna hear a little bit more about that tonight. Steve wants to know if anyone is planning an inauguration party, and yes. Many thanks to Kathy and Larry for diving in and looking at all our digital options. We are going to be having a virtual inauguration night party. We're working on it so that you'll have little rooms and basically you can really interact and chat with people. So it's going to be fun. More details will be coming soon. We do have it on another slide. Okay. We are getting quite a few votes in, so just give us a minute.
All right, I've got, I show 65 votes and I say we can probably go ahead and do the count.
Okay, hold on just a minute.
Hold on just a minute because I just got 2 text messages from people that are having problems.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
we want to make sure everybody's got an opportunity.
Okay. We're only missing 4.
Hold on.
This is more of a question for Madra, but it says, will the desserts taste as good if it's a virtual party?
Oh, that's a sad one. For those of you that are newer to the SemDems, you probably don't know, but Madra and her membership team usually the best spread.
Okay, do you want me to email you the link? You got kicked out of Zoom?
Okay, mute yourself.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, Kathy, everyone
Hey
can
guys,
hear
can you put the link back in Zoom in chat, please? 'Cause
Yes.
it went to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, Christ. No.
Did you get it? Sorry, Sue. You have it.
Did you get it? Because that's
No.
I don't see it in the Zoom webinar chat. Hold up, if I can scroll up and find it.
It's coming.
Daniel, can you hear me? It's Madra.
Yes.
All right, give me your question again, because I thought it was cute, probably. What?
Someone was asking if the desserts will taste as good if it's a virtual party.
I promise them they're going to be better than ever. We've had months to be practicing on our family and friends, and we're coming back strong. We're coming back strong.
As for virtual, I would say we're gonna.
I just sent it to you on email.
Kathy, mute yourself.
Mark Shafansky doesn't have a ballot.
I still haven't been able to vote. I don't know what happened, but you know me, guys.
Mark, I sent you the link by email.
Link.
For those who can't click on the link in the chat, Kathy is currently sending emails. So if you requested an email from Kathy, please check your emails right now.
Yep. Thank you all. Thank you for bearing with us.
Mark Shafansky mentioned in the comments that he doesn't have a ballot.
I emailed him one.
Okay.
So Mark, check your email.
This is Becky. I cannot have a ballot.
Okay, Becky, are you able to see the chat?
Yeah, I see Tracy's name and I see Daniel's picture and Kathy's picture and Tracy and Craig, and that's all I see.
Okay. Okay, at the bottom of your screen, there should be a little chat icon if you scroll over it.
All right.
And when you click on that chat button, there should be a link in the chat.
Oh God, why is this so hard?
Yes, this is the last vote, Corinne.
Becky, I also emailed it to you.
I was going to say, Sue, could you double? Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Let me see if I got it.
Let's give it up to our office team who have gotten really quick at responding to this, to potential emails and whatnot.
Thank you to our wonderful office team. We have so many wonderful people, especially Kathy, who runs the show. Howard, who's been acting as both kind of one of Kathy's second in commands, as well as Sue's second in command. Okay, we've got a couple more people dropping in.
Anybody else need an email? Anybody else need an email?
I'm going to say going once for the emails. Going twice.
No, that's the final 4. Those are the final 4 votes. We're done.
Perfect. Oh, we are complete. So we have all of the votes. We have all of the votes in. So we have a total. Hold on. I just want to make sure this is correct. Nope. Hold on. And then Sue, are you in the spreadsheet side of things?
I am. I'm going to type my results next to your results.
Okay, just making sure. And we will make sure that it is all complete, but I believe we do have a new vice chair.
I can't type on it.
Oh, okay. Would you like to send me a private message in this chat? And
I can't send it only, maybe I can, because you're a host. Hold on.
Yes.
Hi, can somebody mute with the dog, please?
That's Daniel. I didn't know you had a dog.
I don't. My neighbors have dogs, which they just bought a whole ton of dogs and they bark nonstop.
Daniel, no, it's Madra. Don't mute the dog. I love the dog.
Madra loves the dogs.
I love the dog.
Aw. I believe.
Wait, I have to ask you,
yes.
Do you do rescue?
It's his neighbor. It's his neighbor, Madra.
Oh, all right.
Okay, guys, we do have a winner for this one. So I am going to go ahead and announce by a vote of 44 to 25, Tracy Kagan is our new vice chair. So congratulations, Tracy.
Sorry, what was that vote?
44 to 25.
Okay.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tracy.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. We're going to work.
Okay. We're looking forward to it. So I'm going to flip back over to my PowerPoint here. So just give me a second. So traditionally what would happen is the chair would take over from this point on. I have been told, I have been asked by Moira to officially continue running the meeting just through this one. I promise this is my last one hosting, guys. And so what I am going to do is I am going to share my screen. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm sorry, guys. Lots of screens here. But congratulations to Tracy. We are looking forward. Ooh, that is showing the wrong screen. Hold on a second. I'm sorry, guys. Well, I can leave it that way. It's not that big a deal. Hold on, let me try one more time. Sorry about that.
Brittany, we have a question about if meeting notes will be made public, and if so, where?
Yes, so meeting notes are made public to our members. So we do, if you have not joined a precinct captain orientation yet, please be sure to do so. We do also send them out via our PC Minute email. So we send that out once a month, usually the week of the general meeting. And so we do send that out and make sure that minutes are available so that you can review. And many thanks to Nadia for reviewing them. Thank you. And Daniel, if you want to go ahead and mute while you are while we are moving forward. There we go. Okay, so Sue, it is now time to vote in our new members. Would you like to unmute?
Yeah, I'm so excited. You know, we're down to only 33 empty precincts, and we're up, after this, we'll be up to 88 voting precinct captains and another, oh my gosh, what is this, 5, 6 associate precinct captains joining us as of tonight, because that term is for a calendar year. Just as a point of clarification for everybody, we're allowed to have 1 male and 1 female precinct captain per precinct, unless that precinct has more than 1,000 members, which many of ours do, in which case we can have 2 of each gender, and that's by law, and we can't do anything about that. But we will invite the participation of anybody who's interested in getting involved with us. And so we have another designation called an associate precinct captain, which the term runs for a different period of time. It's for 1 year, and you would be included on all the PC activities and communications and all of those things. And we invite you to team up with us and help us organize and get things going. So those members are being all voted in tonight, as well as another 3 voting precinct captains once again. And so I'm going to give you their names now. And I think I'm going to give all the names and their precinct numbers, and then we're just going to do a vote all at one time. So the voting members joining us tonight are Stephanie Strauss, Precinct 2, rejoining us. Thank you. I'm so glad to have her back. Vanessa Eves, Precinct 9. Her dad, Dale, was a precinct captain with us last year, and so she's following in her father's footsteps. And Tara Rao, who comes to us from, oh my gosh, I forget now, but she was really active in our old community, and she's a recent transplant, and we're super lucky to have her joining us. She's in Precinct 33. And then our associate precinct captains are Rich Gottfried, Precinct 5, Pedro Vieira, also Precinct 5, Mike McConnell, Precinct 25, Fred Meltzer, whose precinct I forgot to put down, and I apologize, Joseph Link, Precinct 41, Bernie Bird, Precinct 47, Bob Bogle rejoining us again. He's been a longtime supporter, Precinct 50, and Michael Cardona, Precinct 66. So if there are any questions or comments about all that, we'd be very happy to entertain them. I'm going to make a motion to accept all of these members as presented into the membership.
And Sue, I believe Ben actually already made the motion in the chat. If you would like to do this.
Then I will second the motion.
Okay.
Thank you, Ben, for being
Sounds good. So we have a second, and then if there's any discussion, please stay it now. Otherwise, we are going to vote. You can either do it via chat. I know Tracy Starkweather wants to know if you said Precinct 25. If you said there's,
I did say Precinct 25, Tracy. I sure did. Mike McConnell joins us as an associate in Precinct 25.
Very exciting. More members in that Wekiva cluster. They are wonderful. We have some of the best groups here. We have some of the best volunteers. We really do. So please go ahead and vote. And we are excited to have everybody.
It's weird. It keeps stopping.
Oh, that's
weird.
Daniel, make sure, I was going to say, any other host, make sure you don't end the polling.
Yeah, I'm going to stop touching it. I just moved it around a little. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not touching it either.
Okay, that's what happened.
Where is it supposed to be popping up? I'm missing it.
There's are you still a co-host? Is she still a co-host?
I
That
don't
would
know.
be, if you're a co-host, you can't. No, you
Okay.
should see it, Moira.
I
don't
it
know,
just
it
came,
popped up.
it just came up. Yep, thank you.
Okay.
I just want to say that I'm not a co-host anymore, therefore or a host. So it's not me ending.
All right.
We have 48 votes so far. 49.
49.
I'm watching them go up. I don't think it's going to change the results, but I do want to give everybody a chance to make sure they know how to use the polling feature. Oh, we're up to 51 votes. And also make sure that everybody's voice is heard. Do we have any other I don't think we had any other questions in there.
Everybody voted. If you voted once and it got killed, then go ahead and vote again. I don't think you can vote more than once.
Yeah, you can't vote more than once via Zoom. So
if you voted earlier, but then we had to restart it, go ahead and vote again.
Well, I think we have an overwhelming majority.
we do.
Okay,
We do indeed.
Okay, another 5 seconds, so I'm going to close it.
I think
Okay,
it's okay.
perfect.
Welcome
Thank you.
aboard, everybody.
Welcome. And Joni Cave, raised. But congratulations to our new members. Welcome, welcome. We appreciate you. You have been voted in officially. So thank you, thank you. We're getting some applause and lots of excited people in the chat. They are all excited to have some new buddies in their area, especially Tracy Starkweather. She is, I think, the most excited out of everybody. So thank you guys. Larry, do you want to share the results or do I need to share the results? It is.
I did. I took them.
Okay, perfect. Okay, got it. So we have
51 to 1.
53 yes, 1 no, that one random vote that we usually get. So I appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you, Sue, and welcome to all of our new members. We are doing a precinct captain orientation. We did one this past week, and we will have another one coming up as well. So I'm going to without further ado, I want to keep the meeting moving. So just a few reminders, if you are watching this online or you are not yet a member of the Seminole County Democratic Party, please reach out to us at credentials@semdems.com. If you are interested in running for office, please email campaign@semdems.com. Those are 2 very important emails. Please be sure to encourage your friends and family to become members, to become candidates. It's a very exciting time. So we are very, very excited to have such a great support team.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Brittany.
Yep.
I see a question from Joni Cave.
Okay.
Joni Cave, yes. Do you have a question or was that just a misclick?
And are you able to unmute, Joan? Oh, it looked like you just did for a second.
Oh, she remuted. Or he. I don't know.
Joan, no?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, hello.
Hi, I just didn't know how to vote on that last one.
Okay, yes, there should be a polling on the bottom. So it should essentially pop up. So there should be a little pop-up in your Zoom window.
Oh, now I see it. Thank you, Coach.
No problem. But I wanted to make sure everybody knows how to do that because that's going to be important going into this year, definitely.
Gotcha, thanks.
Glad you found it. Thank you. So this is the 2021 city elections. We have Oviedo, Lake Mary, and Altamont Springs. So again, if you or someone you know might be a good fit for running for office, and they are a registered Democrat, please send us an email. It's entirely confidential until you tell us that you would like to announce it to other people. So we keep it completely confidential. Or if you know someone who you think should run for office, please, 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 please reach out to us, give us their name or make the introduction, and we will do the hard work of explaining what all's involved and what it takes to run. So we're very excited about these upcoming elections, and we're gonna get some Democrats into these awesome seats. So, I have a few announcements going on here. So we we have a few things that have happened in the past couple weeks here. The good, of course, Ossoff and Warnock got elected to the Senate in Georgia. So I wanted to make sure that everyone knew and was excited. And many thanks to all of you who helped out with the efforts. A special thanks to Nadia Ahmad, our secretary, who was instrumental in assisting with the outreach in Georgia virtually. So thank you so much, Nadia. You kicked some butt, and thank you to everyone who dove in, made phone calls. I shout out to Nicole Hammer, who was actually up in Georgia. She was up there registering voters and then up there working hard to get people to the polls. So thank you guys. So it was some very good news. But unfortunately, well, actually, wait, hold on. This is still the good news. We have a few more things to announce. So Nadia was also elected to be a DNC, I always say this wrong, a DNC voting member. So we are very excited to have Nadia representing us at this national stage, essentially. So she was overwhelmingly voted in by the voting members of the state party, and she represented Seminole County very well. So we are so excited to have one of our own fighting for the people from right here in Seminole County. Also, I just wanted to let you all know we do also have a new chair of the state party. Terry Rizzo was our last chair, and our next chair, our current chair, is Manny Diaz from Miami. So we are looking forward to see what he can bring to the party and where we're going to go from there. A couple of things, though. We had some really great things happen, but we also had some really bad things happen. I'm sure these past 2 weeks has been really hard for a lot of us. It's been a rough start to 2021. For those of you that know what was going on. There was a Sanford firefighter who took part in the storming of the Capitol building. And so he was recently arrested, and we have continued to push for him to be completely removed. So thank you all who chimed in and made comments and reached out to the city about that as well. We appreciate that. There's a couple good quotes here that I wanted to mention. Imagine if Black Lives Matter were the ones storming the Capitol building. Thousands of Black people laying siege to the seat of government in the middle of a joint session of Congress. Can you even imagine what that reaction would be? I think we even saw it, for those of you that saw the pictures of the militant response to the BLM protests. It was very different than how this was treated in DC. Our own Stephanie Murphy and her team were there, Congresswoman Stephanie Murphy, and it was very harrowing to see her team have to explain that they're safe and that they were behind closed doors, and it was very frustrating. And just to make it very clear, these are not protesters. Those are white supremacist terrorists. If this had been anyone from our side, I can't imagine how many deaths would have happened. Not just the few, there would have been many. And it's incredibly frustrating to see the response this has had. And I'm glad that there are already people being arrested. I'm frustrated that they weren't detained or frankly, captured immediately. Another quote another tweet I wanted to mention here, there's that escalated steadily for 4 years. So again, it's unfortunate that this was shocking, but it almost didn't seem shocking because of what was going on. So it's so harrowing. And I just want to make sure that we're all aware, be very conscious of the language that you use, especially surrounding the storming of the Capitol. It's not protesters. It is very much terrorists, domestic terrorists. So just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that. And also the ugly. We have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Of course, Donald Trump was impeached twice by the House. I think many of you saw the horrible thing that happened to a local manatee. And then also this was something that really stuck out to me. Imagine thinking that humans have a right to Twitter and not healthcare. I think that right there really shows the juxtaposition in the GOP mindset. And I know that the storming of the Capitol did not sit well with Central Floridians. It was very much, it very much made Republicans even more ashamed to be Republican. Many thanks to Howard Mass, who keeps tabs on our voter registration numbers and has been for several years here in Seminole County. And he said there were actually the difference between the gap between Republicans and Democrats in Seminole County actually dropped by 600 over the last week or so since the storming of the Capitol. So we are now back down to 1,100 in voter registration difference. Speaking of all of the horrible things that are happening, this is extra local to us here in Seminole County. We are joining the fight and calling for the resignation of Castleberry Vice Mayor Mark Bush. He made quite a few inflammatory statements. He's been caught on video multiple times, not just once, making all sorts of remarks. And so we've heard that he's also filed to run for Congress. Thank you, Howard, for pointing that out. But we want him to resign. Saying you're sorry is not enough. Please be sure to sign the petition, which I believe Sue and Liz and our team are posting in the chats and on Facebook. Please be sure to sign this petition and share it with everyone you know. I also want to encourage you all, if you are able to attend the next Castleberry City Commission meeting, you're able to write a letter, you're able to actually speak on the floor. There's no requirement ahead of time to say that you're going to be speaking on the floor, so you are able to just show up and speak. That is at Castleberry City Hall. I see a question in the comments that says, is the petition for everyone or just Castleberry residents? No, this petition is for everyone. Please, please, please share widely, share with your friends, share with your families, share in organizations and groups that you're in. This kind of hate should not be tolerated anywhere, let alone in Seminole County. We're not going to let it stand. That he does not represent the people of Castleberry, nor does he represent the people of Seminole County. I do want to kind of turn things to a brighter note and looking forward, we have some exciting things happening. So in coordination with the inauguration campaign for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we are going to be participating in a Mlk Day of Service. And so we are going to be collecting new personal items starting this weekend for Seminole County school children and their families in need. We do have a list of personal items, and we've also put this up on Facebook as well as on our calendar on our website. So if you go to SemDems.com, which is our website, and you check the Get Involved, there's an events tab. And so you can see our full calendar of events there, but we're going to be collecting things at our office Sunday, January 17th and Monday, January 18th, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So it is going to happen, it's going to happen on Sunday from 3 to 5 p.m. and on Monday from 12 to 5. So, depending on your schedules, please feel free to drop things off. We're going to have actually boxes out in the parking lot in front of our office, so you don't even have to get out of your car. If you find some, we're asking for new personal items, especially sample sizes whenever available, things like toothpaste, soap, shampoo, razors, feminine hygiene products, anything along those lines we're looking for, as well as new socks. We'll be collecting packages of new socks as well, as that's something that we always have a need for. So unfortunately, I see a comment in the question in our chat here, but the MLK parades and events that we usually participate in Sanford have been canceled this year as a result of COVID-19. I think that's in the best interest, unfortunately, although it's usually a very fun time. We usually march in the parade, and then there's usually a celebration down at the end. So it is unfortunate that this year it's canceled, but it is likely for the best as far as health concerns go. So, but again, please, they are asking for sample sizes. So if you have any of those little hotel shampoo bottles or anything that has been unopened, please drop them off to our SemDems office. If you are unable to make it in but still want to contribute, I'm sure we can find a way to get them from you. You can email us info@semdems.com and we will help coordinate. So please, by all means, donate and we will get those to SCPS children and families in need. If you don't know where our office is, it is on the corner of 434 and Ronald Reagan. The address is 250 South Ronald Reagan Boulevard, number 114 in Longwood. And those are some pictures so you can see kind of the area. It's behind the new Taco Bell there. That's kind of how I recognize it whenever I'm driving down 434. So definitely be sure to check it out. But we would love to have any sizes any items that you would be able to donate. So thank you so much. A couple upcoming events. We have lots of exciting things happening. So actually right after this, what we're going to do after this piece, we're going to turn it over and you guys are going to hear all about election data that we have. But if you want to hear more, we are going to be having an election data deep dive on January 17th. Now this is only open to people who are active volunteers or precinct captains, that kind of thing. But we are going to be having that event on the 17th. There is already a sign up on our website, on our Facebook page. Be sure to check it out. Also on January 19th at 5:30 p.m., the Biden Inauguration Committee has asked that churches, towns, individuals across the country ring bells for the lives lost as a result of COVID-19. This is the night before the inauguration, and we would like to make sure that we're commemorating. There's also going to be a Facebook live stream from DC, I believe, and so feel free to tune into that. But we're asking for everyone to take a moment of silence at that time. So please participate if you are able, or please reach out to your city officials or your churches to have them participate as well. On January 20th, as you all know, we're going to have an inauguration. Our next president, thank goodness. We are going to be having a virtual inauguration party, and sign up information for that is coming soon, but save the date because we're going to be doing that. It should be fun. It'll be a nice social gathering, a way for us to hang out and celebrate all the hard work that we've been putting in over these past 4 years. Also, on January 21st, we are going to be having a communications team meeting. If you have any kind of background or interest in things related to communications, whether it is social media, writing, voter outreach, any kind of proofreading, any of those things, graphic design, please, please, please join us for our upcoming communications meeting. You can either sign up online, or you can also email us communications@semdems.com to learn more about what's involved. We are excited to have you. Lizzie is going to be stepping in as our new communications chair in the next month, and she is very excited to lead the team into the future. Also on January 21st, just after that, I believe communications meeting is at 6 p.m. and the precinct captain training is going to take place on January 21st. This is a pretty basic overview of what it means to be a precinct captain, but it also gives you a good idea of where to find the information that you need. So I saw Steve Barnes commented in the chat here. He said, where do I find all that information about being a precinct captain? And for those of you that know, Steve Barnes is a longtime member of the SemDems, but even he doesn't know where to find our latest information. election. So I definitely recommend all of you check that out. I joined the last one, which was on the 12th, and it was a wealth of knowledge. I appreciated hearing all about the great things that we've got going on and all of the information that our team has put together. So thank you all. I have just scheduled, I actually scheduled it with our new chair, Moira, a January 28th, which is the 4th Thursday, virtual happy hour. So we're going to be doing a Zoom hangout. It's going to be BYOB, bring your own beverage. We're going to be hanging out in front of the computer, chatting, and just getting to know each other a little more. So it's definitely going to be more of a social environment. It's not required, but just an open, fun thing. Because I know a lot of us are missing seeing the familiar faces for people, you know, since COVID's happened, and especially since the election. I've missed seeing all of you. So we'll be hanging out and doing that on the 28th. And the link for that sign up will be coming soon as well. I don't think that's up yet. And then also we are going to be having, if you can't make the 21st precinct captain training, we are going to be doing several more. As you know, we've got lots of new people coming in. Our goal is to bring in all the precinct captains and fill all of our spots with wonderful, amazing volunteers. So we're going to keep it up and continue with our trainings. But that virtual happy hour on the 28th is going to be really fun. So I definitely recommend joining us. It's going to be virtual again. And also that's the 4th Thursday. So our SemDems meeting is the 2nd Thursday of the month. So we usually ask that, you know, we try to do something on the 4th Thursday as well. Something like a small fundraiser, a get together, something like that. We used to do house parties, but that was obviously pre-COVID. We're going to be probably doing some virtual house parties, especially when we start to get some candidates and need to introduce them to the community. So it'll be very exciting. There's a lot planned for the year ahead, and we have so much more to plan. So please, please, please dive in, get to work, and help. We also we had scheduled to have a tent at the Taste of Oviedo in March. And I just wanted to give you guys a heads up about this. So we have this event scheduled. We actually had prepaid for it last year. And then when it was canceled as a result of COVID, instead of returning our money, they just said, we'll give you a table next year. And as of right now, it is still on. We do have a safety plan in place to put our table farther forward, to have it where people can pick up items, but then to have our volunteers back behind. I know there was also discussion going around of wearing 2 masks for the volunteers who were going to be at the table, potentially people who were already vaccinated. I know several of our volunteers have been vaccinated already. So we are going to be looking into that as we get closer to March. But I just wanted to give you all a heads up. We want to make sure we are safe and secure. So congratulations to all of you that have already gotten your first shots. Very exciting. A couple other things we have in the works. We are going to have we are going to be starting up a Muslim caucus. We are also going to be starting up an LGBTQ caucus. These have been a long time in the works, a long time coming, and we are so excited to finally be starting out. So we are excited about that. If you are interested in either one of these, please, please, please go ahead and shoot them an email with your contact information. There's likely going to be small dues because these are part of our statewide caucuses. We're going to be working towards making them official statewide caucuses. We do have to have a certain number of members in each in order to do that. So please go ahead and do that. And we will also be announcing when we do have our first meetings. So stay tuned for that information. Probably February and March is probably when those will be kicking off. So oh, does that say, oh, that says SemDems, yes, semdems.com. Thank you, thank you. So we are very excited about that. And actually, you know what I realized we did not do? We actually did not vote on our minutes yet. Larry, do you have a vote for that one? Our meeting minutes. So we are actually going to be voting on the approval of, and I'm not sure, did we approve the December meeting minutes the November meeting minutes? Because I know we had a super abbreviated meeting. I don't think we did. So do I have a motion to approve the November and December meeting minutes? Do I have a motion?
Hammer says she remembers us voting in November.
Okay, so just December. To vote in December.
I make a motion to accept the meeting minutes as presented.
Thank you, Sue. And do I have a second? I see a second from Ben Jenkins. Thank you so much. So Sue Jenick and then Ben Jenkins for our minute taker. And so all in favor, please go ahead and vote. And then we will be announcing our activists of the month. Sorry, guys, we're almost to the fun part, the data part. Okay, just a couple more seconds. Please go ahead and vote.
Anyone's curious, I did try to fix the whole dog situation. Unfortunately, if I pick and my parents' situation. Unfortunately, if I pick my microphone from my headphones, I can't actually listen at the same time. So
no worries, Daniel. I think everybody's just excited about the data presentation. So
Okay, another 7 seconds.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Larry. Okay, and our minutes are approved. So thank you all. Our December meeting minutes are approved. I skipped over that one, as I sometimes do. So thank you guys for keeping me accountable here. I appreciate it. So now our activist of the month. Oop. So I have actually 2 to announce because we didn't announce our December activists of the month due to our other election going really long. So this person has been an incredibly dedicated volunteer, is really dedicated to assisting Kathy and the office team. And we just want to say thank you for all that you've been doing. Many thanks to Marilyn Fair, who is our December activist of the month. So Marilyn, congratulations and thank you.
Woohoo, go Marilyn.
And then we actually have our January activist of the month as well. This January activist of the month is somebody who's also been around a while. And she actually helped coordinate. She was kind of the Kathy before Kathy, and she helped coordinate all of the outreach that we did when we handed out voter guides at the early voting locations in November. She's been a long time dedicated volunteer and has knocked on more doors than I think I ever will in my life. Emily Belaires Romero, congratulations on being our activist of the month. We are so happy to have you. So
thank you, Emily.
Yes, thank you, Emily. We appreciate you. And thank
Emily, we love you. Emily, by the way, in case everyone's curious, Emily is the one who taught me how to canvas really effectively.
Great. Yes, Emily is a wonderful canvasser. So Daniel, without further ado, I'm gonna hand it over to you. And is it you and Deb presenting, or is Craig presenting too?
No, it's me and Deb.
You and Deb. Okay, Larry, could we make Deborah Poulalian a panel or a co-host, I believe?
Oh, also, I need to be remade into a co-host so I can share a screen.
We're working on it.
Got it. So this is an exciting thing. This is something that everybody's been looking forward to. We finally got the election data from the November 2020 election. I know it doesn't seem like a long time, but Daniel had to bug people every single day to try to get this information. Deb had to go around our current supervisor of elections, Chris Anderson, because we were not able to get the information from him that we needed. So we actually ended up having to go to the state of Florida for part of it. Deborah actually has done a public records request about some of this. This information should be public and this should be available. And unfortunately, it is not. For those of you that don't know, So Deborah Poulalian actually ran for office after her and I and Craig sat down with our supervisor of elections. And Deborah said, you know, this information, this data on your website is wrong. And they said, oh, well, we're working on fixing it. She's like, I've sent you 3 emails. I've called you multiple times. You need to fix this. And they said, oh, we're working on it. Well, guess when they fixed it? The day after she filed to run against him. So thank you, Deb. You got that done for us. So we appreciate it. So go ahead, Deb and Daniel, take it away.
All right, so guys, so in case you're wondering, some people have been posting data reports. In fact, I know for a fact that the SemDems made this, that the Republicans made this beautiful email data report with a whole bunch of data, and I know that some people have been doing it. That data was all estimation and guess. We specifically waited until we had the actual reports, and I can guarantee you we were among the first to get the reports. In fact, we had the reports before they went live on the state website, which I believe they just went live last week. Deb can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty certain they just went live last week. Mm-hmm. So before we get started on this, I want to make 2 very important, that was the first important disclaimer I wanted to make. The second important disclaimer I wanted to make, I've seen some rumors online, and I wanted to address this, that there was fraud, voter fraud, that robbed the elections from the Democrats. I can guarantee you, I have looked at the data. Many other people have looked at the data. In no way, shape, or form can we identify any fraud. We have found some discrepancies, nowhere near enough to flip any election, and all of them were traced back to provisional ballots and late cured ballots. And again, that number was so small, it wasn't even 1% of all votes cast. So it wouldn't have changed any single election. We have not found any sort of voter fraud whatsoever. I just wanted to clarify that because I have seen on Facebook and on some other places allegations of voter fraud. Mm-hmm. And now let me, I have to share screen. My bad, I was already there and I wasn't sharing screen. Here we go. Oh no, not that. Present. All right, guys. So this is our our eagle eye view of the 2020 election. We're calling it Move the Needle. It was made by Deborah Poulalian, who made all the beautiful graphics you see here today. I think she is 99% the architect of this PowerPoint. I can do data. Unfortunately, I can't make it pretty for people. I'm fine with just the numbers, but Deb is amazing at making it legible for people. So thank you, Deb, for all your work there. Then there was me, and then special mention to Craig Wilding, who provided us a lot of our graphs and maps, some special maps you're going to see later on. So without further ado, I'd like to pass it on to Deborah so that she may begin. Deb?
Thank you very much. So I'm Deborah Poulalian. I am very excited to present this to you. It should take about 15 minutes. I know we've been in this meeting for quite a while. But we are going to, no pun intended, zoom through this. And this is about moving the needle. So next slide, Dan. So the question is, did we move the needle? Can we move the needle? What do we need to do to move? Next slide. So I want to say to you, we are moving the needle. And this is one of the important ways to look at it. In 2016, when people went to vote in the general election, they had 4 Democratic candidates, and that included president. They didn't have any Dems to vote for. In 2018, we made a massive change, and there were 13 Democratic on the ballots, and in 2020, we had 18. And we're going to have more in 2022, and we're going to start with our city races in 2021. Next. I want to say an amazing thank you to everyone who was involved with fundraising. We did more than move the needle. You tipped the scales from 2018, when we were at almost half of what the Republicans raised, to $225,000 in 2020, dwarfing what the Republicans could drum up in the second year of Trump. Wonderful job. We are moving the needle. I'm going to take a little extra time on this one because it's voter registration. which I love. So I want to draw your attention to the red and blue lines. Just follow them up to the right and watch them get closer and closer together. And I literally had to type in the updated numbers as we were having this meeting so that I had what was the best I could get today. So we have closed that gap according to what I pulled down from the Seminole Supervisor of Elections office, 1,127. Okay, and I'll be darned, we are not going to let that gap open up, and we're going to close it, and we're going to make those red and blue lines cross, and we're going to keep going up. So that's the red and blue lines. Now I want to just draw your attention to the gray bars at the bottom. Those reflect the number of voters that were added to the voter rolls in that particular year. So if you look at it closely, you can see that presidential years, you get a surge. You can see it in 2016 and you can see it in 2020. And when you draw your eyes up to the red and blue lines, you see that surge, the blue and gray lines, you see that surge is coming from Democrats and NPAs. We can move the needle. We are moving the needle. We want to see this needle move a lot more. Next. So now let's talk about election results. This is the needle that we all desperately wanted to see move. And so I want to remind people, it wasn't that far off with Hillary Clinton and Trump in 2016, only 3,500 votes. She was only down 3,500 votes. But in 2020, we passed that 3,500 and put it 7,329 for Biden. We moved the needle. Next. Slides. And I want to talk about the fact that we kept our Democratic incumbents. You know, not everyone hung on to their Democratic incumbents, but we did. And so I want to talk about specifically the results in Seminole County. So in Seminole County, Stephanie Murphy got 52% of the votes and 55% for her whole district, as you can see. So she was up by 14,000 votes in Seminole County. Not going to point out that she beat Biden, but she did. She's our wonderful candidate. And then Joy Goff Marshall, 52%, and she was up by 1,900 votes for the part of her district that was in Seminole County. Next slide. I want to talk about our heartbreak that we did not get Senate 9, but I want to look specifically at how the vote went in Seminole County. And so I'm so proud of the race that Pat Sigmund ran. And I want us to recognize that she was only 311 votes behind Jason Broder in Seminole County. And that includes this extra candidate who took away votes. So we need to just push a little bit harder at the top of the ticket, and we're going to see some changes in the results in Seminole County. Next. And I want to celebrate our local wins. So Chad and Castleberry, Chad Albritton, and Jennifer Webb, who sneaked in and got into Seminole County Soil and Water. We are so proud of what you did. We can get more victories in these nonpartisan races that are local and county-wide if we run candidates. Next slide. We are still fighting for 28 and 29, and kudos to Pasha and Tracy, who ran twice. I ran once. I'm still recovering. They ran twice. And I also want to point out our third-party candidates pulled away votes. So we're going to keep fighting for 28 and 29. Next. So countywide, as you know, I was a county candidate. And I said when I started my race, I said we're going to win together or lose together. We lost together this year. There's no sugarcoating it here. None of us actually won, other than Soil and Water, our countywide race. But we have to be on the ballot, and we have to be on the ballot every year, and we are going to move that needle. We are not that far off. Next. I also want to thank all our other local city candidates who ran. We're going to keep running city candidates, and we so appreciate the efforts that you took to be on the ballot. Next. So this is my last slide. I get to comment on this one, I think. And I'm going to turn it over to Daniel. But this is going back to voter registration. And so we were talking about increase in Dems and Republicans. So I just want you to see the blue tips on these bars are the new voters in our 2020 elections who weren't there in 2018. And you can see that we gained a lot more Dems and Republicans, and even the NPAs gained more than the Republicans. So what I want to highlight is a place that I just realized we moved the needle, and I didn't know this until just yesterday. So on the right-hand side, where you see the new voter sources, first of all, I want to call out Craig Wilding for doing the data analysis. He actually had to write code and examine and merge two voter databases to do this. There's not many people who can do that, and thank you, Craig. So among our Republicans, 80% of the new Republicans in 2020 were new to Seminole County, 12% were NPAs to Republican, and 8% were Dems to Republican, which is horrible, but that happened. But don't panic yet, because let's look at what happened on the Democrat side. So we had 78% new Dems to the voter rolls. We got 15% NPAs to Dem. So that's 15% to the Dems versus 12% to the Republicans. We had a special effort to get NPAs to switch their voter affiliation, and it worked. I believe these numbers show that that worked. And so we can continue doing these creative ideas and we will see the needle move. The other last thing I wanted to point out is under the Democrat side, we did have Republicans switch to Dem, about 7% of that, the new voters. So it's kind of a wash between what happened with Republicans and Democrats. So I'm going to say one last thing before I turn it over to Daniel, and that is that winning is not the only way to see if we've moved the needle. And I think I've talked about that now. That being said, we're going to do everything we can to get more winners in 2021 and 2022. So thank you very much. Daniel, take it away.
Thank you, Deb, for the presentation. Everyone, let's give her a hand. Well, actually, I don't think any. Deb, if you can hear me clapping, that's me.
Thank you.
Now let's move on. Oh, wait a minute, Deb, this is also your slide.
I'll take it. I love all my slides. So there is another place where we can move the needle, and that is turnout. So you'll see on the left-hand side, by percentage, Republicans turned out 85% of their registered voters, and Democrats only turned out 79%, and NPAs were a bit lower. So if you go by count, which is the lighter blue bars, it's about 11,000 in Republicans and 92.5 for Democrats. So, you know, more than 7,000 votes we didn't get because they didn't vote. So, you know, we've known it's a problem. We've been trying to address it, and we're going to have to keep trying to address that if we want to move the needle. So it's a challenge. We're up to it.
All right, thank you, Deb. I just wanted to make a quick note. While I'm presenting, I can't actually see the Zoom chat, so I will not be able to answer any questions until the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Watching the questions for you too, Daniel.
All right, thank you. All right, so this is Democratic Turnout 2020. This map is courtesy of Craig Wilding, who coded it so that it would show up very beautifully. I gotta tell you, this is one of the best maps I've ever seen. But I wanted to say that the average turnout for the 3 House districts was about 82% in House District 29. It was 78% in House District 30, and it was about 81% in House District 28. Our top precincts for 29 seem to be the western part of Sanford and Lake Mary. You know, we're talking about the higher income areas, which generally is the same pattern we noticed back in 2018. In District 30, the highest performing areas were in Winter Park, again, the higher income areas, a similar pattern which we've noticed. And in District 28, the higher areas were once again Oviedo and Winter Springs, which are the highest income areas in House District 28. In fact, there's quite a few neighborhoods in Winter Springs which are known as Millionaire Road just because of that. Our need work precincts, and we've touched upon this a lot with during our elections, our need work precincts are 49, 50, 51, and 52. For those who don't know, that's Sanford, essentially, and Altamont Springs. Those two areas happen to have the most amount of Democratic votes, but they also have around the lowest percentage of turnout. So we need to do our part to make sure that we are engaging with these communities in order to turn out the vote. We did have a 1% increase in voter turnout from House District 29 and 28. House District 30 was more or less the same voter turnout as it was back in 2018. So this is our turnout. Now I wanted to talk about the MPA swing for the state houses. I calculated the MPA swing for the candidates back in 2018. And the reason I do it for the House District candidates is, number one, they ran twice, so I have a steady comparison margin. But number two, because they're the ones where the SemDems takes the predominant effort. Yes, we have state senate, yes, we have Congress, president, governor, and whatnot, but those are generally run by groups outside of the SemDems. Meanwhile, these state house candidates are generally run by the SemDems, so that's why I always like using them. This particular graph measures the overperformance, the difference in overperformance that we had in getting MPA percentage than the Republicans did in 2018 and in 2020. The blue line is 2018 and the gold line is 2020. And you can see how in this cycle, we took a beating. We definitely took a beating. Part of it had to do with the third-party candidates, yes, but not as much as you might think, because the third-party candidates only got 2% and 3% of the vote, respectively. And House District 29, the average overperformance dropped from 30% to 7%. Tracy also had the biggest blow. Her third-party candidate gave her the biggest run for her money. However, Tracy managed to beat him back very successfully, I would say. In fact, one of the pictures that comes to mind, if anyone has ever seen a movie where a man's arm gets chopped off, and he says, "'Tis but a scratch." I think that very amply describes Tracy Kagan, who was then third-party candidate, was really hammering her, but she managed to stay in the positive. In fact, she was the only one who stayed in the positive. House District 30 also dipped a little bit into the negative in terms of MPA swing. However, that district is so overwhelmingly Democratic, it didn't really do that much of a difference. That being said, Bob Cortez did lay in a very hard challenge, especially appealing to the Hispanic vote, using his Hispanic legacy, which proved to be a difficult challenge, but nonetheless, joy prevailed. In House District 28, we see the biggest blow overall. We went from 20% to negative 3.14%. We were positive in the Sanford area, but it was still less positive than it was during the 2018 race when Dr. Lee Mangold was running, and that just dropped all the way. We can see that pattern. It dropped into the negatives for Winter Springs, Castleberry, and Oviedo, including Geneva and Chuliota. We see some positive spikes, those mostly due to super volunteers who acted independently of the SemDems and the current House District campaigns, including Emily Belair. So if you see those little spikes on there, those are thanks to them. But as overall, you can see that the House District we did take a blow. A lot of the MPA swing went towards the Republican, not as much went to the MPAs as you might think. And part of the reason for that, we have speculated, is because the MPAs beat us on our own ground game due to COVID. And Tracy Kagan touched this previously. Due to COVID, we took safety precautions and we didn't really go door-to-door canvassing. I know Joy and Tracy eventually did start doing some door-to-door canvassing, lip dropping for a fact. Tracy actually did canvassing. House District 28 didn't really have any operations outside of Sanford, which led to that massive gap. And it's that kind of outreach that really turns the poll for us, because it was that kind of outreach which really won over the MPAs for us last time around. And it even won us over people who registered in other parties. I know for a fact we had a huge Libertarian support back in 2018, and that was pretty absent this time around. So we will have to work on this. Now, you may be wondering, well, how do we know that the MPAs in the House District and in Seminole counties are, just not more favored towards the Republicans? Well, we know that's not true because, number one, of how they performed last year, but number two, because of how they vote for progressive values. Two cycles in a row, people have voted in Seminole County overwhelmingly for the most liberal of notions. restoring the voter rights in 2018, and raising the minimum wage in 2020. And in both those times, they drastically overperformed our top performing candidates, which include Stephanie Murphy, Gillum, and Biden. So in our county, we do have people who are willing to vote for progressive ideals, progressive values, but that isn't translating to the down tickets. So we have to work on expanding that outreach and connecting it. And in fact, further evidence of this is the fact that even though 28 was heavily outnumbered by the Republicans, even more so than House District 29, as you can see in 28 and 2018, we performed much better there. Even though the candidate at the time ran on the ideas of raising the minimum wage and expanded Medicaid, he ran as the far more liberal candidates, and he still got these ideas. So we know that there is room for growth. Now we just have to target those areas with strategies that can increase growth. And for that, the data and strategy team has a few recommendations. We need to register more blue-leaning voters. These include the younger people and younger families. Younger families are more likely to be blue-leaning, and we need to get them comfortable knowing that they can vote for the and we need to get them comfortable knowing.
There was somebody unmuted. I got it.
Okay. And we need to get them comfortable voting for the blue down ballot candidate. And it's not surprising. For the longest time in Seminole County, the safe vote was the Republican. In fact, for a lot of the time, it was the only vote. We didn't have Democratic candidates. Now we do have Democratic candidates, and we need to get them comfortable voting for us. We need to educate voters on down ballot races. The fact of the matter is the House District, the Senate, Congress, Senate, whatever, they can vote, they can run on very persuadable ideas. Marijuana, minimum wage and whatnot, Medicare, but the tax collector is very hard to make it sound like it's a very appealing position that someone care about. We need to make sure we can educate our voters on down ballot races, and we have some strategies in place for that. If you want to know more about that, please attend our in-depth meeting. We need to be more visible in local government. In fact, we're going to be asking the precinct captains to take part in their city local government meetings. In fact, if you're in Castleberry, now is a great time. We need to take part in our county meetings. We need to take part in our school board meetings, and we need to take part in our soil and water meetings. We need to know the issues that people are bringing in year round. And if you're in a neighborhood that has special interest, like for example, the Run is trying to stop development in the area, join those meetings and let us know exactly what the people are saying, because at the end of the day, our candidates have to work for the people. We need to engage and support minority communities. I know there was a lot of complaints, and we had a survey which demonstrated this. A lot of people were upset at how very broad and how very one-sided the appeal to minorities was this time around. All Hispanics was treated as if they were all the same type of Hispanic, Cuban, or Puerto Rican, and that's just simply not true. I'm proud to say that we've actually made some efforts to combat this already. We finally have a Muslim caucus, and we have an LGBTQ caucus, a goal which we have been working and striving for the last couple of years. We finally have one. So we will be making efforts into engaging and supporting our minority communities this time around.
Daniel, we had a request for you to slow down just a little bit.
All right, my bad. That always happens. We will provide more training and accountability for precinct captains. What do I mean by that? I mean that not every precinct captain is expected to do everything. You don't have to be an expert in every single thing, but it would be nice if you had a little bit more training, so perhaps you can register more individuals, or you can swing your precinct a little bit by little bit. We do know for a fact that precincts with active and engaged precinct captains perform much better than precincts without precinct captains that are engaged and active. We have scientific evidence of this not only nationwide, but we have done our own research within the county, and we have identified those numbers. So we will be providing more training and accountability for precinct captains. Again, if you want to know more about that, please join our in-depth data meeting. We're going to target precincts and voters with blue potentials with extra communication. What I mean by this is we have noticed the areas with the specific precincts where there are spikes, where the amendments are heavily supported, but our candidates are not. And when we tracked this, we noticed it was the same precincts every single time. The same neighborhoods have overwhelming Democratic support. They're just not getting down ballots. So we'll be targeting those precincts with more comms and more dedicated comms, so that we were able to flip these people and hopefully get these people to transfer their vote down the ballot. And again, if you want to know more information on that, please join our deep data dive. We're going to be targeting young voters. I mentioned this earlier, 18 to 25, and their young families. Again, we need to get these blue-leaning voters to actually come out and vote for us. And we're going to try to recruit Democratic candidates in every race. As you guys know, as was mentioned by my colleague Deb, we did outrace the Republicans this time around. I'm not saying we're going to be able to erase them every time, but every candidate we have in the field makes them dilute their money even more. So the more we can keep them on a pace, the more we can challenge them, the better things are for us. We will probably never be able to steadily outrace the Republicans, but we can outwork them. And we won't have to work as hard if they have to spread their money too much. The Republicans heavily rely on mailing their way to victory and paying their way to victory. We work for our victory, and if they have to pay even more money, if they have to dig deeper into their pockets to fight us off, well, I think that's just worth it. So we're going to be recruiting Democratic candidates for every race. If you're interested in running for office, if you have some inkling that you want to run for office, please contact campaign@semdems.com, and our campaign trail will reach out to you to start the process. Do you want to know more? Our in-depth data meeting will take place this Sunday, January 17th at 6:30 p.m. You can sign up through the link on Facebook, or you can email me, data@semdems.com, with questions. We also have a link on Facebook. Yes, I have stepped down from being the vice chair, but I am still the data chair, so feel free to reach out to me at any moment with any questions you might have. Now, are there any questions? I wasn't looking at the chat, so I honestly don't know.
I don't see any questions yet, Daniel.
Daniel, there was a lot
of positive feedback, but no questions.
Yes, several appreciative comments. I know Sal said this is a wonderful presentation. I think everyone is just excited to be seeing this information and ready to utilize it to the best of our ability come 2021 and 2022 elections. I'm checking, I don't see anything else on Facebook either. Any other questions?
All right. Well, if anyone has any questions that they want, we will be going much more into depth as to how the NPA swing was, how exactly the performance was for our House candidates compared to last year, how our county candidates compared to our performance last year, and just general information like that. So if you have even more questions, instead of just this bird's eye view of how the 2020 election happened, please reach out to data@semdems.com or register on Facebook. You do have to be a registered precinct captain or a super volunteer for us to approve you and send you the link. But I'm pretty sure everyone here is a precinct captain or a super volunteer, so I don't think that's going to be too much of a problem.
Great. Thank you so much, Daniel and Deb and Craig. We appreciate it. Please be sure to join us for that data deep dive coming up as well. Thank you. Daniel, if you want to stop your screen share there.
Yes, let me see. Stop.
Someone was asking about Slack, our Slack channel. For those of you that are not aware, what we do have actually a Slack channel that we use for precinct information. So it's exciting, and we for those of you that haven't used Slack before, on your desktop or on an app on your phone, and it's a great way to communicate back and forth, to have discussions, and to dive into certain topics. So we definitely want to use that. If you are an active volunteer already, you should have access to our Slack account. Our precinct captains get invited to a special private channel called Precinct Captains. So if you are not a precinct captain, please let us know. Sue has been monitoring that, so she'll be sending the new precinct captains that were just voted in tonight. So thank you guys. So yeah, Daniel, Deb, and Craig, and the whole data team. I know there's a lot of people that were chiming in on this meeting. I've been in on those meetings, and they have been so insightful. So I am really looking forward to this data deep dive.
Also, I have one more thing to add. If you are interested in data, we are also the strategy part of the SemDems. So if you want to be involved, please reach out to me at data@semdems.com, and I'll be glad to include you in our strategy discussions for how we flip the county. I am aware that the mark is 20 years. I agree with Tracy. We don't have time to wait that long. We will flip this county before that, and we will use data to do it.
Deb, any last comments there? Nope, you're on mute. You're on mute. No?
My lips. Thank you all for hanging with us.
We appreciate it. I know this was a little late for everybody. So that is the end of our meeting. We're actually gonna, I'm just gonna announce that we have our Thursday, February 11th, will be our next SemDems meeting, scheduled for 7 p.m. If Tracy or Moira do want to unmute and make any comments, but other than that, we're gonna have a motion to adjourn. Anything else from Tracy or Moira or anyone else?
I just want to thank everyone. I'm excited to work with everyone. Brittany, I don't know how you did it all or do it all. I have a lot of respect for you and your team, and it takes a village. And so we'll be looking for other villagers to help us. We're no man is an island, no woman is an island. And so it takes a team. And I really look forward to working with people and having a good time doing it. And as we do it, making it blue. So
great.
I'm excited.
I also would like to add my voice to that and say thank you again for your vote of confidence. And I will move to adjourn. You were calling for a move to adjourn. I make the motion.
We have a motion to adjourn.
Oh, good.
We actually have one in the
Oh,
chat
good.
below,
Excellent.
and then we I think that was I can't see the name. It is Marianne Coffey was the motion to adjourn, and then there was a second from Ben to adjourn as well. So Larry, if you don't mind putting the vote up on the screen. And if everybody could go ahead and vote, we will officially adjourn. I will stay on. We are going to stop the Facebook Live, but I will stay on in case anyone wants to chat. Moira and Tracy, you're welcome to stay on too, because I mean, you're leading us into the future. So we are all very excited.
Well, it's
no
their show now.
I better get a map. If I'm leading you into the future, then I need a GPS.
Don't worry. You've got a lot of
Moira,
historical maps around you.
Does Moira get to keep the little hammer, or do you get to keep that?
No, the little hammer. I think we're going to share the little hammer. We're going to share the little
This is passed down, so whoever's running the meeting can use the hammer. That's by
I'm gonna give it to Moira. She can take the hammer. I'll get the wrench.
Oh, well,
Nicole Hammer would like to point out that she is a hammer.
Nicole Hammer
Voting
is a
is
hammer.
up, folks. Please vote if you're.
Please be sure to vote. We're still missing quite a few people who are still on, so please be sure to vote in the polling. I know sometimes it's a little bit, yes, it's a gavel, not a hammer. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Ray, so much for correcting that. I do, it is definitely a gavel. I gavel it. I use my gavel all the time, and I'm ready to pass the torch. So
Okay.
For sticking with
Closing
us.
polling here.
The expectations are so high. I hope I can live up to them.
You guys are going to be great. We have such a great team. Everyone here is so amazing. Pass the baton. So with that, our meeting is adjourned. We have 37.
I just can't wait for us to be in person.
0 votes. No, same. I am ready. Let's get those shots and get in person by all means. Everyone, stay safe. And we're gonna stop the live feed on Facebook, but